I mean, when Paul Castellano got killed
Yeah.
by John Gotti and Sammy, and there's a crew of 11 guys that did it, that was an unsanctioned hit on a bus.
As far as I know, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I looked into this whole thing. They spoke to various people in the 5 families to get like an unofficial sort of okay, but they knew if they went to the commission and asked them that,
They would have said no.
they would have said no, and then Paul would have found out, and then they would have all been killed.
Mm-hmm.
So it was an unsanctioned hit on a boss, which I think hasn't happened at that point in like 20 years or 20 or 30 years. There was like an attempt on another guy, on another boss at one point. I mean, I think like the last time there was an unsanctioned attempt on a boss was Frank Costello.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound right?
Yeah, it sounds right. Yeah.
So
The other thing would be Joe Colombo, if you
Yeah.
believe that, it was a sanctioned hit by the commission, which I heard there could be some truth to that. Yeah.
okay, so you have this unsanctioned hit, Paul Castellano.
Mm-hmm.
And, after that, in a relatively short period of time, John Gotti becomes the new boss, even though he wasn't even the underboss at that time. And everyone seemed to be kind of okay with it. Doesn't that go against what the commission is supposed to stand for?
I don't think everybody was okay with that. I don't. I mean, there was a lot of talk on the street about it. A lot of people didn't like that move by John. Chin obviously didn't like it. Persico didn't like it. But he did it, So I think eventually he would have paid the price for it. I really do. There's a lot of controversy about John, at least that I knew of at that time. And I think it was a bold move on his part that was not taken well by many, many in that life.
I mean, it was done in public,
Yeah.
in front of like hundreds of people. Essentially, it made front page news everywhere. Here's a secret society that's doing public hits of bosses, in New York City, or was it Brooklyn or New York? I forgot where it was.
It was in New York.
New York, right. There you go.
Middle of Manhattan.
In middle of Manhattan. And suddenly the Teflon Don emerges after that, and he's wearing the furs and everything else like that. I mean, did you know Paul Castellano?
I did, yeah.
How well?
Not really well. I mean, he was a boss. I met him as a recruit. I had an incident with him and met him a couple of times afterwards. When I drove Tom DeBella and Andrew Russo around, they would meet with him and I would drive them. But, listen, it wasn't a popular move. It wasn't. But that's how John did things. Listen, look, there's a new book written by John Gleason, who was the prosecutor, I think, that finally prosecuted Gotti. And he just read, after 25 years, he wrote the book. And he said that, John Gotti single-handedly, got the entire FBI and everybody upset with everybody in that life because he was so ostentatious, so out there, so in your face. I mean, you can't do that. Anybody knows that. Anytime you become high profile like that and you're thumbing your nose in the face of the government, you're going to go down. You're going to get in trouble. You're going to bring heat on everybody else. It's another reason why Colombo wasn't looked at right, because with the Italian-American Civil Rights League, he had his crew, made guys marching online in front of the FBI building. Guys didn't like that. Guys that were relatively unknown became well-known because they're out there every day, and they had to be. And I know, I was there, every single day. So that's frowned upon in a big way. That could get you in a lot of trouble.